Hello again, everyone. I'm Patrick Wade with the Champaign County Joint Information Center. Another one of our daily video updates to keep you informed. Today we're talking about masks. A lot of you have probably heard about the governor's order beginning May 1st. Most people are going to be required to wear a mask while in public. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We have Champaign-Urbana Public Health Administrator Julie Pride, Champaign County Sheriff Dustin Harmon, and WCIA Channel 3 News reporter and anchor Aaron Eads, who's going to talk about their mask drive happening tomorrow. But first, we'll start with Julie. Julie, can you tell us a little bit about the masks and how they work and what they do to protect yourself and others?
Sure. So the idea of wearing a mask to prevent respiratory illnesses is that the mask will cover your nose and mouth and prevent you from breathing out or talking. When you're talking out, droplets come out, and if you cough or sneeze, also droplets come out. I try to have people think about when it's winter time and you go outside and you are talking and you can see that big plume come out in front of you. That is your breath, and if that is has virus in it, then that can infect someone. So if you have a mask on during that time, or a scarf or a bandana or something like that, that's going to prevent the vast majority of that from coming out. So if everyone wears one, because we don't really know who is positive or not because of the asymptomatic transmission, then that will reduce the spread. So you still need to maintain social distancing and you still need to do hand washing, and but the mask will help prevent getting virus out into the air, so that somebody else could breathe it in. Another good thing about that is that they found that wearing masks will prevent you from touching your nose and mouth as frequently as you would otherwise. So those are the main reasons for doing that. You know, we understand there's been a lot of changes through this situation, and it's evolving every day. But right now, we do want everyone to wear a mask anytime that they're in public. And I know there's confusion too about why aren't people doing this now, because the governor just said that. But the official, I mean, we've made that guidance for quite a while now, but the official, you need to do that every time you're in public, starts on May 1st. If you have the masks, you know, go ahead and start wearing those now, if you haven't already been. So that's pretty much the important thing, is to find a mask, make a mask, or a face covering. If you don't have, again, if you can't find an actual mask, that's fine. Use a scarf or a bandana tied around your head, anything like that.
Thanks, Julie. Sheriff, Julie mentioned the order that's going to go into effect on May 1st. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what that is and what that's going to look like for our community?
Sure. Thanks, Pat. You know, so the actual order is not published yet. However, I listened to the governor's speech, and I'm sure our listeners at home listened to the governor's speech too. And that really gave a good overview, I feel, as what this order is going to say whenever it comes out. First and foremost, you know, it's important to note that that executive order will be extended until the end of May, with a few more things opening up. So I believe the governor said golf courses and a couple other places, as long as social distancing is still able to be obtained, now those businesses are starting to open. So one important part of the governor's order will be people are required to wear a mask when in public or patronizing businesses, and not able to maintain a 6-foot distance from another person. And you might think, so personally, I've been wearing a mask since March because it's just good, proper hygiene. I want to make sure I'm healthy, etc. And how I was thinking about this was, so I may go to the grocery store, and I've been to the grocery store hundreds of times, and I know that there's usually only one person in that aisle with me, and maintaining that 6-foot distance is not a big deal. However, I can't control what other people are doing. So personally, I'm probably going to be wearing a mask, even if I go somewhere to an essential business that I think I may be able to distance myself from others. I'll likely be wearing a mask there too, because you never know what somebody else is going to do, where they're going to be, etc. The important part, you know, some of the important parts of these masks, it doesn't only protect you, but it also protects everybody around you, just like Julie said. Think of wearing that mask as a courtesy at this point and a requirement beginning May 1st under the revised governor's order. Starting right now is not a bad rule of thumb, though. Getting into that habit just because it goes into effect the first doesn't mean that you're not going to see any benefits of it now. That first is kind of a subjective date. It's just the date that the order goes into effect. It's important to realize that wearing a mask slows the spread of the virus and helps flatten our curve in Champaign County. Not only am I worried about myself, but I'm also worried about my parents, my family, those I know who may be a little more susceptible to COVID-19. So that's what I'm thinking of whenever I put on that mask every day when I go to an essential business, is not only am I going to protect myself, but who else do I love? Who else is near me that I want to make sure doesn't get this as well?
Thanks, Sheriff. That makes a lot of sense. Important to remember, obviously, that it's not just for yourself, it's for everyone around you. So, of course, if you're going to wear a mask, that means you have to get a mask. So WCIA is hosting a mask drive on Tuesday, the 28th. Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, Pat. So, the reason this is so important is because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of essential workers in Champaign County right now that still have to go to work every day. You've seen them in the grocery stores, for example. Not all of them have masks. It's if you are running out to do a personal errand, if you're going to run out to the gas station, it's easy to throw on a scarf or a bandana. But if you're going to be on your feet for 8 hours a day, interacting with people in the public, it's nice to have something that you don't have to worry about as much. So that's why we are holding a homemade mask drive that's going to be tomorrow in our back parking lot on Randolph Street, right across from the Champaign Public Library. Starts at 9 a.m. and we're going to go all the way to 7 p.m. If you've sewed homemade masks according to the CDC guidelines, we will be accepting donations of them. You do not have to get out of your car. You do not have to interact with anybody. So it will be following social distancing guidelines. You will be tossing them directly into a bin where public health will take them, and they will be sanitized before they are distributed to workers. Just the reason it's so important is because, for example, my mom was able to sew me some masks. She made these out of some old pillowcases, I think. And it's wonderful that she did this. The thing is, though, not everybody knows somebody who can do this or has the time or the resources to do so. So if you do have the time and you have sewn some masks or would like to make some of those today, the workers in Champaign County would sure appreciate it. So 9 a.m. tomorrow is when we're starting in our back parking lot at WCIA, right across from the Champaign Public Library. And again, you don't have to come into contact with anybody. You just throw it right out the window.
All right, thanks, Aaron. So that's important to remember. I know a number of my friends and people at social media posts I've seen so many people in Champaign County willing and ready to help out. So that's been a great thing to see, just how willing people are to help out. So that's all we have for today. Thank you to the speakers for joining us. Just a couple last notes. Information about the local response and local resources is always available at champaigncountycovid19.org. And there's also a few tips there now about how to make your own masks. So check that out. And as always, anyone in need of financial resources, help in any way, you can dial 211. 211 is a great resource. You get hooked up with the trained specialist who can find you that help. So that's it for today. We'll be back next time with another video update. Thank you.